Welcome to Talkin Jets. My name's Ryan and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside our panel. I've got Green Bean, Matt O'Leary, and Richie from Jets Media. Boys, how you doing tonight? Green Bean, happy birthday to you, my friend. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. You know, you get to that age where you don't give a shit about your birthday, and then it seems like everybody won't shut up about it. That's where I am. There's no place I'd rather be, man. I'm in a good mood.
Matt, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Excited to spend Green Bean's birthday with him talking Jets football. What could be better than that?
I love it. Richie, how you doing again? Thank you for coming on again.
Thank you so much for having me on here. I love coming on, talking to Matt, Green Bean, and yourself. I'll be talking Jets football back-to-back nights with Green Bean. Last night I had him on my show. Again, happy birthday, Green Bean. Love having you on my show last night. Excited to get into the optimistic side of the Jets because, you know, there's just so much positive energy surrounding this team. So I'm so excited to dive deep into here. Again, Ryan, thanks for having me on.
Oh, guys, I am so glad you're here to hang out with us. All of these great content creators are down in the description down below. Make sure you follow all them. They put out some absolutely fantastic videos. And then if you want to get yourself entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug, I'm going to raffle one off at the end of the show. All you have to do is join the Flick chat. I believe that's in the description down below. Just click on that and join that. And then if you want, we're going to try and vote our favorite players into the Pro Bowl. We have a little bit of influence, so we're going to throw the voting, the link up in the pinned comment in the live chat. So if you want to vote Quinnen Williams, Marcus May, Braden Mann, whoever you want, by all means, vote for them over there. Now, guys, I feel like I have to address something right off the bat. You may have seen a video that I dropped today, and I got a little bit of hate. I got a little bit of anger at the just from the thumbnail. And then, like, before I even actually had the video go live, people were just like, egregious. Absolutely egregious. Now, so basically, for those of you that didn't watch it, I speculate that the Patriots are going to be out of the playoffs come Week 17. I think they're going to bench Cam Newton, and I think they're going to start Jared Stidham Week 17. And I'm concerned that the Jets are going to accidentally win that game. So, Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first. How realistic are my fears, and should people be upset about that type of situation happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's real, man. It's funny. Richie and I were talking about this last night a little bit. I said, you know, the most realistic scenario for the Jets going through our long history, the most realistic scenario is that this gets blown up for us. And not only does it get blown up for us, that we do something to blow it up. So beating the Patriots when they are obviously trying to lose, like if they start Stidham and bench a bunch of starters and are calling, he's going forward on 4th and 12 and things like that on his own 20, we'll take that as an opportunity to win the game. Like, that's how the Jets roll. That said, I do see there is a thickness in the air, man, like I have never seen before. And I think this losing is strong. This tank is very strong. So it's realistic, but I don't think it's going to happen. Finally, I'm on the optimism side over here.
Matt, talk me off this cliff or away from the cliff's edge. Is this something I have to be concerned about?
Look at this hand. I am not in the least bit worried at all. I'm not. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because I don't trust Adam Gase to go on the road and win a game. And with how Sam Darnold is playing, love the guy. Defended him for a very long time, but he's not playing good football. It's not going to matter. Even if they do play Jared Stidham, I don't see a scenario in which Adam Gase and Sam Darnold can go on the road and win a game. I just don't. They played in one relatively close road game this year, and it was against the Chargers, and they lost by 6 points. And that's a game that should not have been close, but the Chargers do Charger-like things all the time. In every other game so far on the road, it's been a massive blowout. Seattle, Buffalo in week 1 was a 10-point loss, but it really felt like a lot more than the 10 points. Indianapolis was brutal. Kansas City was brutal. You go right down the line. Miami was another game where they got blown out. So I really, this game being on the road eases my tensions a lot. If it was at home, maybe I feel a little bit different, but I don't think you have anything to worry about. I really don't.
Richie, talk to me. Do I have anything to worry about?
Listen, man, I've been worried about this exact situation where I got to the point where I was rooting for the Patriots. Like, I would never in a million years think that there would be any situation in the world for me to be rooting for the New England Patriots. And here I am watching Thursday Night Football, hoping that they can beat the LA Rams. And what do? They go out there and get destroyed because we need the Patriots to be in the playoff conversation come week 17. And that's not the case. But then again, like what Matt just said, we look at how the Jets are playing, and it's like, wait a second. We're talking about potentially we're on course to be the worst team in NFL history. How could we go on the road and beat Bill Belichick in Foxborough? The only way that's possible is if Bill Belichick has that in his mind saying, let's tank this game. We want a better draft pick. We don't want Lawrence in the division. Let's just do it. It's a real fear that every single Jets fan is definitely in the back of their mind. It's definitely something that I don't even like thinking about or talking about because I don't want to speak it into existence, and I hate thinking about it because it's such a big anxiety that, like, wow. I said this last night on my stream. I'm like, listen, if we go through a season like this and we still don't get the first pick with that generational quarterback ready to take us to the promised land, quote unquote, like everybody says he could be, that is the most Jet-like thing possible. And it's a real worry. And I love that Green Bean and Matt really made me come down to earth and give me some optimism because it's definitely a sense of worry. But at the same time, I don't like thinking about it because it drives me insane. And we got Gardner Minshew coming back. If he can beat the Chicago Bears, then let's go kill the Patriots and still get the first pick. How about that?
That's exactly what I want. I want nothing more than to root for our team to get a win. And I feel like I haven't rooted for that since like week 4 of the season. So it'll mean a lot to have that happen. Hopefully the Jags can pull out, an upset against the Bears. We got a little comment question. We'll get to that first before we jump into some of our topics. Big Lou, the rapper. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Trevor Lawrence and Adam Gase again, or Sam Darnold, Penei Sewell, and Jim Harbaugh. Which one would you prefer? Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first.
What's this guy all about? What's he trying to do over here?
He's saying,
why do I got to do that?
Would you prefer Trevor Lawrence with Adam Gase, or would you prefer Jim Harbaugh as the head coach with Penei Sewell and Sam Darnold?
All right. I think Adam Gase is the worst, period. I don't think there's anybody that touches him. So whatever comes with him, I don't want it. I'll take Sam Darnold with Sewell and Harbaugh any
Matt,
day.
What about you, Matt?
Is there a C option? Can we get out of this somehow? Nightmare scenario. Either way you line it up. Because, oh, God. I guess stick with Sam and Harbaugh. I don't like that option either, though. But neither of these are good.
Ricky, what are you thinking about these options?
I mean, it's terrible either way. But the one thing I will say is maybe we have to suffer through one more year of Gase, and then he gets fired, which still means we still have Trevor, and then we can get a new head coach. That's the only way out of this scenario I could think of. But I can't bear to watch another season of Adam Gase coach this team. So it's definitely Sam Darnold with the offensive tackle from Oregon and Jim Harbaugh.
I can't watch another Adam Gase-led team. So I'm taking Sam Darnold, the tackle from Oregon, and Jim Harbaugh in this situation. Shout out to SG31 Black. He says he picked up some Kalo down in Georgia today. If you guys don't know what Kalo is, I'm a big fan of it. I actually reached out to them to see if they would sponsor the channel, and they did, and they hooked me up with some free drinks. I told them I don't want any money at all. I just want to get free drinks. And basically what it is, it's a CBD seltzer. So for all you guys that like your CBD lotions and all that sort of stuff, this is like really, really good. And I usually have a can of it right now. I'm drinking an IPA, so I'm not having it right this second. But if you guys have not tried Kalo, I absolutely thoroughly endorse it with no money on the line on this. Like I just enjoy the product itself. All right, so let's jump into some of our topics for today. Let's talk about our thoughts about the Jets Seahawks game this past weekend. The Jets get thumped 40-3. Green Bean, what were your takeaways from that game?
We were talking about this a bit before the live stream started, but one of my takeaways is that I actually started to feel for some of the players, and it turns out that Seattle was actually feeling for our players as well, for the Jets as an organization. That game looked as if we couldn't wait for it to end from the minute we got there. A couple plays, the Marcus May thing and all that, but it really looked like they're done. This goose is cooked. They lost their soul the week before with the zero blitz and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's just like I'm at a place with this team where it's just like 3 more games, 2 more games, 1 more game. Like that's all it is to me anymore. But I will say this, Jamal Adams sucks. And I don't care. Anybody using this game to try to make a case for Jamal Adams being worth what he wanted is a fool. We saw exactly his benefit, that he was given a gift interception in his chest, which made me think him and Sam were talking before the game or something. That's how good it was for him, and he dropped it. So that's the positive silver lining for me. I got firm support for the idea that this trade was good for us.
Matt, what did you think what were your thoughts on the Jets Seahawks game?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be ugly, but I didn't think it was going to be that ugly. I mean, 40-3 is just absolutely atrocious. Shout out to Sergio Castillo for taking over as the ultimate tank god. My God, he one-upped Greg Williams after an amazing performance from him. Listen, defensively, we see what happens when they don't bring any pressure through blitzes. It's just they played a conservative game, and Russell Wilson picked apart that secondary. No surprise there. Offensively, they couldn't do a damn thing. It was as bad as it gets, and I don't know. There's not really a whole lot you can say about the game. It was awful. There were no positives. There was nothing positive to take away from that game.
Richie, what'd you think about the game Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, there's really not a lot you can get into with this game. My reaction video was a total of 2 minutes long because I'm like, listen, what am I going to talk about? Like, there is nothing to take away from this game besides the only optimistic thing I can say is we got a flashy Marcus May interception. Marcus May looked like the best safety on the field throughout the entire game. And like Green Bean mentioned, Jamal Adams missed the easiest interception of his lifetime. And he wanted that so badly against Sam Darnold and the Jets. And It's unfortunate that he didn't get that for Jamal Adams. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, I mean, going into the game, I expected it to be this bad. I expected a blowout. I expected the Jets to go out there in the first drive and put up points and never put up points for the rest of the game. We saw that all year. The Jets have put up points 5 straight games on the first drive. Think of that. That just tells you that Adam Gase puts all of his time and effort into that first drive, and then he's like, all right, I think I think on the fly here and adapt to everything, and he just has no sense of awareness of football and offense or anything. But I'm not going to go on a tangent about that guy. But yeah, man, there's really not a lot to get into about this game. There's not a lot of positives that you could take away besides one flashy play, and Sergio Castillo looked like a complete mess. It's funny how he turned into that because he was actually a surprise at first. We're like, whoa, we got kickers now. We got Ficken and Sergio. Which one are we going to play? We don't know. And then now he's gone. So, it's just another one of those games. There's no life around this Jets team. And that's why it kind of senses my anxiety about the Week 17 game against the Patriots because this Jets team is so bad. And it feels like the players don't care. They don't. On the defensive side of the ball, we saw a completely different vibe from them. In my opinion, that was their first time we saw Greg Williams not calling the plays. And you could just feel the sense of urgency to get a victory. They kind of gave up 6 minutes into the first quarter, felt like to me. It's just overall, this New York Jets team is depleted, and it needed to happen. We needed a season like this in order to propel us for the future. And like this game, there's not a lot you could talk about because it was everything I expected. I expected it to be a blowout. I expected DK to do well. And I expected Russell Wilson to go off on us, which he did with 4 touchdowns. So no run game. Adam Gase giving the ball to Frank Gore 30 times. and no Ty Johnson at all after a 100-yard performance the week before. It's just insane. But one thing I will say that's optimistic, and it's not really that big of a deal, but it is at the same time, is I said towards the end of the year, the one thing I want to see from Mekhi Becton is him stay healthy, play the rest of the season. I don't care if he plays bad. I don't care if he plays good. The one thing that every Jets fan is a little worried about with Mekhi is his injury concerns. And right now, that is thrown out the window. And I like seeing him go out there. He's playing really good football in the trenches, in the run game. He's going to have his hiccups in the passing game here and there, but that's okay for a rookie. But it's good to see Mekhi out there healthy, because we need that guy to be our starter at that left tackle position for the future. So maybe that's the only really thing I could think of. But like I said, it's everything I expected, man.
Dude, this game, for me, I've had so much hatred towards Jamal since the trade deadline of last year that, like, I've been waiting for this game ever since the trade happened. I was like, all right, we got him on the schedule. Let's see what happens. Getting that little bit of a catch with Herndon, the first throw of the game. I was like, okay, it was right on Jamal. Makes me feel a little good. Even if it's the only catch we get all game, it's nice to have it, while Jamal was covering. We were actually 2 for 2 against Jamal. Jamal is giving up 82% completion percentage when targeted this year by all teams. So not very good in coverage. But then he drops the interception, and that makes me feel a little bit better. I'm like, okay, this is a good day for the Jets and a good day for Jamal, for me to hate Jamal. But then, that's really what sort of made me feel good. And then I'm like, okay, the only thing that needs to happen is the Jets I hope Jamal doesn't get the sack record against us. I just hope it doesn't happen. And then, of course, Sam fucking Darnold runs out of bounds. Runs out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. And that's how you get the 8.5 sacks. Like, that's how you get the sack that triggers Jamal Adams getting the record for a defensive back. Now, he's going to break that record next year anyway. He was out for 4 games this year already, plus he's got 3 more games to go. So it's not like, this is the game that sets, like, the mark. But to have him break the record against us, I was a little wound up. Greenby, did you have any feelings towards that?
Well, yeah, I did. It was complete horseshit. I mean, that's the kind of play you throw the ball away. But the worst part about it is that Herndon was open. It was very similar to a few weeks back. Maybe it was like week 3 or 4 when Darnold was running on the side. He ran out on the right side for a sack, and Crowder was running right in front of him with waving his hands, and Darnold just won't throw. He won't pull the trigger. It was very similar to that. I was watching it on all 22, and Herndon was open on that play. And it makes it that much more painful. Number one, Darnold, you got to just throw it out. You're allowed to. You're way outside the pocket. Just toss it. Why are you taking a 2-yard sack in that situation? But what makes it worse is that we had a productive, positive play standing right there in front of you. Maybe he just knows Herndon's going to drop it. I don't know. But you got to take that shot. And this is how you know Sam's regressed. Obviously there are so many examples that you could pull out, but that's a big one, man. Sam's rookie season, he was slinging it everywhere. He was taking those types of plays. He never takes that sack. He's done that more than once this year, actually taking a sack by choice, running out of bounds. So I think it's bullshit too. I hearken it to the Michael Strahan, Brett Favre thing. When the one record that we legitimately held was the Mark Gastineau sack record. Nobody was touching it for years and years and years. And then Brett Favre lays on the ground because Michael Strahan was not going to get it that game. I think that was the late 3rd or early 4th quarter. Strahan,
it was like the last part of the 4th quarter. I remember it because that was what I exactly thought of too. I was like, this is crap. Like Favre, he lays down. He's smiling when he gets up off the ground. I'm like, oh, no.
Right.
Like, what the hell?
He's just like, hey, let me give it to my buddy. And, that's not the way it's supposed to go, man. So Jamal Adams, look, dude, nobody's going to say he's not a good football player. He's a good football player. But what we're trying to say is that, number one, he's not somebody that you build your team around because he's a fucking jaw-flapping, divisive guy, number one. Number two, he does not impact the game. And for 2 picks, 2 firsts and a third, I would more than do that again. I would do that for less, quite frankly. 2 firsts and a third is a great return on that. And he showed you exactly how he impacts the game. We are the lowly 0-13 Jets. He was gifted a pick, dropped it. and he got the sack record. I'm chasing a guy who could have very easily thrown it out of bounds. That's Jamal Adams, and that's the impact that he has on the game, man. So I don't even know what the question was, but fuck Jamal Adams. How's that sound?
I love it. Matt, what'd you feel when Jamal got that sack? The one part of me that did like it is that the announcers didn't even necessarily realize it was a sack when it happened, because they didn't say like, oh, he broke the record. It took like an extra few minutes for it to like the graphic to pop up, and they're like, oh yeah, that was, a thing. Matt, how'd you feel about it?
I cannot express enough how little I care about the safety sack record. That is not even like, who held the record before Jamal Adams. I could not tell you. I have no idea.
Adrian Wilson. I had to look it up, from the Cardinals, 2007.
Okay, that is an irrelevant statistic that Jamal Adams can have. Fantastic. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Right. Because it's not what safeties are supposed to do.
Oh.
That's why nobody cares. It's not what they're supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be intercepting passes, defending passes. That's why they're called safeties.
Yeah, right. And he Green Bean said it well. He's a very, very good player. Very good player. You can't take that away from him. But the whole argument that we were having, 6 months ago or whenever it was that he got traded was, yeah, he's a really good player, but I can't justify paying him $20 million a year because he doesn't impact the game enough at the position he plays, which is true. That's the God's honest truth. Seattle's defense is still terrible. They might not win a Super Bowl this year because of their defense. They are where they are because of how good Russell Wilson is. They have two amazing wide receivers, and they have a really good running back in Chris Carson. That's why they're so good. It's not because of that defense. And I think if they were to pay him, that's probably a mistake for the cap. But after you gave up all those assets, it's like, how could you not at the same time? I still love the trade from the Jets' perspective. I would have loved it if it was a first and a third, but they got an additional first on top of that. So I would have done it 100 times over. It is what it is. I'll say it again. I don't care about the safety sack record. It doesn't register to me.
Richie, what are you thinking about, or what were you thinking when Jamal got that record? Any saltiness, anything that came across your mind?
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember last year I was rooting really hard for him to break that record. I'm not going to lie. I wanted Jamal Adams to break that, and because anything on the Jets I want to happen breaking records wise, because we just are historically terrible. So I'm like, oh, we have a star. We have a guy that can be generational, because Jamal Adams looked like that guy to me. I definitely am a sucker for falling in love with Jamal when he came to the Jets and rooting for him. And I wanted them to extend Jamal Adams. I did not want them to trade him. But then after I saw with the haul, then I'm not complaining. I mean, I would do that all over again, like you guys said. I mean, you cannot pass up 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for a guy that doesn't impact the game as much as you think on the defensive side. He's more of a defensive end outside linebacker than a safety. And if you're smart on defense, you can utilize that to your advantage, which I don't know if the Seahawks are really doing, but maybe they are because he's putting up the numbers sack-wise. But, I mean, their defense is 32nd in the NFL. So what is he doing? The one thing I will say to Jamal's credit is I don't know if it was if it was Greg Williams or something, but our defense looked completely different last year with Jamal than this year without Jamal. That's the only thing I really give to him, because our defense was kind of identical. I mean, we didn't really get that many new players from last offseason to this offseason on that defensive side of the ball, not off the top of my head. And we were 7th in the league on defense. And this year we just fell apart. So whether that's Greg Williams regressing as a defensive coordinator or whether that's Jamal Adams making an impact, we don't know. But I didn't even know it happened. First of all, like, I don't really think it didn't feel like he broke a record because he didn't get a sack to me. Just Sam ran out of bounds. Like, Sam just ran out and Jamal was 4 yards away from him. I didn't even think that he got credit for that sack, to be honest. So if there's a way for him to break the record, that's the way, especially during a game where you drop the wide open interception. Listen, I will always have a soft spot for Jamal. It's hard not to. I do not agree with the way he got out of New York. I don't agree with his selfishness. I don't really appreciate how he left Jets fans, because someone like me, who was a passionate fan of his, I loved his game in LSU even before he was a Jet, and just being obsessed saying like, yo, you are our future, like Jamal and Sam Darnold. I have a stitched Jamal Adams jersey and a stitched Sam Darnold jersey, as you can see right there. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those. But I was just, I was.
It's going to be a cold winter.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that Jamal Adams was our future on the defense at some point. And a lot of Jets fans thought the same thing. And for all this to come around the corner and seeing where we are today, it was the right move for Joe Douglas to do that. It was 100% the right move, because now we do not have to worry about him being a head case. Because if he was on the team right now and we were losing this badly, we'd be worrying about like, oh my gosh, Jamal's upset. Like, no, the headache is away. We have a tremendous draft capital. We are not built to win now. Jamal Adams is a win now type of player. And this Jets football team is, as we know, not even close to being competitive. So it was the right move to do. 2 first-rounders and a third-round pick is phenomenal. And for a guy like Joe Douglas to have that ammunition at his arsenal, and we saw what he did in his first draft, it should give Jets fans a lot of excitement for the offseason, because without Jamal Adams, we don't have draft capital. Listen, 3 players can come out of this trade. 2 firsts and a third, like we keep mentioning, because we know that's the trade. But imagine if Joe Douglas hits on all 3 of those, even 2 of the 3. If those 2 first-round picks become cornerstone parts of the foundation that Joe Douglas is trying to build at premium positions, then that trade, we're going to look back at it and be like, wow, Joe Douglas, thank you so much. You are everything we need. Because at the moment it happened, I was a little worried. I did not want Jamal traded. I will openly admit it. When that whole speculation started circling, I was openly on Twitter saying, don't trade Jamal Adams. He's a guy you need to build around. And I would admit that I was wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong, because I like where this team is headed. We need draft capital and cap space to do what we need to do to build the right way. And I feel like we're on the right track to do that. And it's going to take a long time, but I'm ready for the grind. I'm ready to be patient and let Joe Douglas go to work with the draft picks.
All right. I agree with
Ryan.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick. Like, what do you think our record would be if Jamal was here? Like, this, everything being the same, and we got Jamal. What is it?
I think I bet it's a game. I bet we have a game somewhere, because I could see us beating the Patriots or beating the Raiders, because those were so close that like maybe his impact, those would be the games where we'd feel the impact more than anything else. I don't know if there was any other game. Maybe was Denver close? I think Denver was close for a little bit.
Denver was pretty close, yeah. For a little while.
So maybe you say those games could possibly be it. I'm stoked on the trade. If Jamal was in perfect standing, I would say I'm trading him for that amount of compensation. Anyway, it doesn't even matter that he, was kind of shooting his way out the gate. I do want to call attention to one of the guys in the chat. Let me see. 5011 says the Jets, the Seahawks are no longer 32nd in defense. They're closer to 20, but then someone else commented 32nd in pass defense, which I think is still correct.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said it.
Yeah, so I'm all about, Jamal should be more of a safety and not more of a linebacker. I definitely feel like he's more of that Mark Barron type, safety, where he actually converted to linebacker, and I think Jamal would do well there. But yeah, for the trade compensation we got, I'm very, very happy with it. I'm gonna change topics a little bit because there's not a whole lot we could really go into with this game. And I saw a comment pop up in the chat, and I'm actually talking about making a video about it. But since we only have 270 people in here, I'll probably still make a video about it. But let's talk about this. Could you see Rex Ryan as the Jets' next head coach? And hear me out. Let's put the tinfoil hat on. This video is brought to you by Reynolds Wrap. If you want the aliens to stop listening into your brainwaves, if you want to, no, seriously, here's the thought process. So the Johnson family loves Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan loves the Jets. Like, he legitimately does not stop talking about them when he's on the air. And so here's the idea. Rex Ryan comes in. He is the CEO. He gets players to fight for him and fight hard. Then, okay, well, he can't run an offense. We saw what happened with Mark Sanchez. We got to figure this out. So we hired Tony Elliott, the Clemson offensive coordinator, to be the OC for Trevor Lawrence. Rex Ryan's son went to Clemson. He has a very close relationship with the Clemson team. So he could possibly bring him in. And then defensive coordinator-wise, you bring back Jim Leonard, the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin, who is being talked about pretty highly. It sounds like he may wind up with a defensive coordinator job in the NFL this offseason. He was a recipient of, I don't have the stat in front of me right now, but some trophy. Not a recipient. He was a top 5 finisher of assistant head coach of the year back in 2017. What are the chances? I won't even say what are the chances, because the chances are 0. Rex Ryan's not coming back. But let's just say, would you be on board with Rex Ryan Clemson OC and Jim Leonard as your defensive coordinator. Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first.
I think Rex Ryan is not good. That's what I'll say. I think I would not. I look, as far as my heart, I wanted Rex Ryan to be the guy more than other head coaches. Like, he was just perfect. He was like a Jets fan. He took when he said, like, same old Jets going to the AFC Championship game, he was like flipping all those negative things to positive, and I loved him to death. But when it boils down, Rex is the same old thing. He's a guy that only knows one side of the ball, does not even give a shit about the other side of the ball. He has that offensive head coach kind of thing. So Rex Ryan being the CEO, I think he's probably ill-equipped to do so. He would just be in the defensive room because that's all he cares about. So as much as I like it as far as comic books, like the story and like Rex Man, like that kind of stuff, I don't see that, man. I would be disappointed. I would think, here we go again.
Ooh, that's a good idea. So what superhero name would Rex Ryan be? Would it be like Captain Socks or like something with a foot fetish or something like that? Or
yeah, he'd be
Matt,
Captain gets rid of all his receivers in one season, one off season.
So Matt, what would you think of Rex head coach, Clemson OC as ROC, and then Jim Leonard as the defensive coordinator?
I would be very upset. I love Rex Ryan was a lot of fun, and he was a good coach in 2009 and 2010. But on Christmas Eve 2011, Rex Ryan died. That's it. That was the end of Rex Ryan. They held on to him for 2 years too long after the 2012 season anyway. And I know the Johnson family loves him. Jets fans love him. It brings me back good memories thinking about Rex Ryan, but leave that shit in the past. He can stay on TV and do his hot takes or his weekly radio spots on the radio. That's fine. But yeah, he's not a coach in the NFL anymore. He's just not.
Richie, what do you think about Rex Ryan coming back to the Jets?
Yeah, I mean, I like talking about fantasies and like what ifs, but that would not sit well with me personally. Rex Ryan is that guy that, like everybody mentioned, he was a fan favorite because he brought the Jets to the AFC East Championship. He's a guy that you just love because his energy is just through the roof. We had a Hard Knocks whole series about Rex Ryan. We understood a lot about him, and then he lost weight. So if Rex Ryan...
Skinny Rex can't win games. It's Fat Rex. That's what we want. He's getting bigger. He's getting bigger. He's coming back to old form.
That's what I was about to say. If Rex Ryan gets back to his old ways or even fatter than he was, I'm all on board.
That might have been the greatest Halloween costume I've ever seen. Actually, so I've seen a few good Halloween costumes. The first time I saw Rex Ryan like out in college, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't dress up as this. But then I remembered I was like 140 pounds at the time. I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. And then, actually, good Halloween costume. Side tangent here. After the butt fumble, so a year later, I ran into a girl that dressed up as Mark Sanchez with the helmet and everything and had fishing line dangling from her arm with a football. And she was the butt fumble like the whole party. I was like, oh, I'm so sad. I was like, I really don't want to see this.
Hey, somebody in the chat, My Holy King said the Rex Ryan character, comic book name would be the Blob.
He just eats it. Let's go get a goddamn snack. I love it.
It's snack time.
Richard Delgado is a bad person, and we don't like him because he says Lawrence would look better in a Jags uniform.
Oh,
that's a lie. The Jaguars don't even play in the United States. Are they in London yet? They're not. They're like, what? If they don't get a quarterback soon, they're moving to London. What were they going to have?
Cares.
4 home games?
No one cares.
Richard, thank you for the super chat, but I don't like you.
Hey, they had 2 players shoot out of town this year, man. In the past 12 months. So it's like, whatever bullshit the Jets have going on, the Jags are worse. Just nobody cares. That's the thing. Everybody cares about the Jets. We're the favorite whipping boy of the NFL because people actually give a shit about us. The Jaguars are a turd, and no one cares. I'm surprised they still have a team. Honestly, no one goes to the games.
Oh, Richard, I'm glad you tuned in to here, but I'm sorry you're in the firing squad right now. Matt, what do you think about
like
what do you think of of Lawrence going to the Jags? Is there a benefit for him to go to the Jags? Let's spin this into a question that we can actually discuss. So
Okay.
let's. Do you think is there a benefit for him going to the Jags versus us?
No. So this is the thing. Whenever I hear, I'll answer it like this. Whenever I hear that Trevor Lawrence is going to refuse to go to the Jets, I laugh because the other options are like Jacksonville or the Washington team that doesn't have a name. So it's not like you have so many other great choices where you can go. And like, do you really want to plant yourself in Jacksonville, Florida, where their games are blacked out? Like, that's how little that they care about those games. That they're blacked out. And think of it from just even a marketing perspective. On the field, sure, both the Jaguars and the Jets have been bad for a long time. But would you rather be in New York, the biggest media market in the entire world, the biggest any kind of market in the world, or Jacksonville, Florida? It's not even a comparison. Like, if he came here and was successful, he would be a god, like a legitimate god. Look at Joe Namath. When was the last time he played? 50 years ago? He's still a god.
Yeah.
Not just this town, but just overall. He can market himself off of one championship over 50 years ago. So same concept here. If he comes and has success, he'll be a star. Look at Odell Beckham. You think he likes being in Cleveland, or you think he wants to come back to New York where he could get all the headlines and be this big thing?
That's right.
He wants to be in New York, and that's where it makes the most sense to market yourself.
Counterpoint to this, before I jump over to Richie and get his thoughts. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City, not a big market. Patrick Mahomes, pretty big entity. Is Trevor Lawrence bigger than the media market himself? Is he going to attract, like, you look at Kevin Durant when he was in OKC, he was getting tons and tons of deals. Like, the football and NFL landscape is so much bigger than just the market. Not to mention you're getting, zero income tax from the state of Florida. So there's some benefits I could see, but hey, this is a Jet show. I'm all about the Jets. So Richie, your thoughts on are there any positives for Trevor going to Jacksonville?
I mean, if the question is, are there any positives comparing to the Jets positives, then they're very similar organizations where they are right now. They're both the Jaguars have been better than the Jets in recent years because they went to the AFC Championship with that crazy defense in recent memory, but they don't really have a lot, and the Jets don't have a lot. So I'm going to really just go off of what Matt said because it makes so much sense. If you come to a market like New York City, and yes, the Jets play New Jersey. Yeah, but no, it's New York Jets. I don't care where MetLife Stadium is. It's the New York Jets. We have New York across our chest. I'm sick of hearing that, but I digress. But no, if Trevor Lawrence comes to the Jets, he will be looked at as a god because if you win on the Jets, if you're any type of star in New York, you are looked at as an absolute king. People worship you. No matter what sport it is, it doesn't matter. I mean, I would just compare this to like Jeremy Lin on the New York Knicks. I mean, all of a sudden he has 2 weeks of good basketball play, and there's Linsanity blowing it up. I mean, trust me, I'm a big Knicks fan, and I love that era. But like they literally any little ounce of prosperity from New York teams, they dramatize, and I love it. I love that. I mean, we are in the mecca of sports and the mecca of the marketing and just the mecca of everything to do with the world. So that's why when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, if he had an option between the Jaguars and the Jets, then I don't understand that whole thing like, Trevor Lawrence should go back to college because he's going to go to the Jets. Well, if it was flipped, right? If Jacksonville was 0-13 and the Jets were 1-12 and it was like the opposite where we're trying to keep losing. We're rooting for the Jags, to win, but we have the second pick as of right now. Are people saying the same thing? Are people like, he needs to go back to college because he cannot go to Jacksonville because Jacksonville's terrible? But that's what my argument is. I mean, if you're Trevor Lawrence's agent, which he probably doesn't have yet, or if you're Trevor Lawrence's parents or somebody that's close to Lawrence, you would tell Trevor, like, listen, man, all these people saying like you should stay in college and avoid the New York Jets. Like, do you have any idea of how big you would be if you go to the Jets and win? Because listen, Ryan, you bring up a really good point that, Patrick Mahomes is in Kansas City, small market, and the NFL gives you that platform to be a big icon. But if you go to the New York and you're in the NFL and you're a star, that's like double the revenue, double the exposure, double the fandom. So, like I said, there's no comparison whether I can't imagine Trevor Lawrence would say, yeah, I'd rather go to Jacksonville over the Jets, because then I really want him. I mean, you want somebody that wants to take on a challenge, because if he is this hyped up generational talent like everybody says he is, and that I hope he is if he's on the Jets, obviously, then he should want to take on the challenge. He should be like, listen, I want to go win over this organization. I want to turn this thing around. I want to be the guy that can revive Jets Nation, because we have been in tears for so long, because we know that if the Jets are ever good, then the NFL is going to be blowing it up. It's the same way. If the Jets are really good, then the media loves talking about it. If the Jets are really bad, they love talking about it. And Greeny brought up a good point. When the Jaguars are really good, they love talking about it. When they're really bad, no one's talking about it. So the Jets are a team that will be talked about no matter what. So if you're a guy like Trevor Lawrence and you've been hyped up for like 3 years in Clemson and you've been coming out, you're the consensus #1 overall pick. If I was him, I would want to be a Jet. I would want to take on that challenge. If you have the confidence in yourself, you should literally want to listen, give me the keys to the kingdom and I will prove to be the king of New York, and let's go. I mean, let's see it happen. But yeah, I hate talking about this because there's still not 100% guarantee that he's coming here.
That's right. So, I know. And let me, Ryan's point about I almost said KFC. No one wants to go to KFC. But, when you look at Kansas City versus Jacksonville, too, it's like we're talking about Jacksonville, not Chicago, not KC. Like, KC's a legendary organization. They've been in the NFL forever. They've won Super Bowls in the past. They've been a great organization for a long time. They had Joe Montana for a while, so all that kind of stuff. Even them, while they're a tick down from the big ones like New York or Dallas and all that, Pittsburgh, they're still a few ticks higher than Jacksonville. Jacksonville might be the weakest market in the entire NFL. All right, so that's that. And let me say this: people don't. In history, nobody has denied or not wanted to come to New York. No one has ever taken their draft stock and moved from New York. As a matter of fact, when Peyton Manning stayed in school, it wasn't because he didn't want to come to the Jets. It was because he wanted to be guaranteed to come to the Jets. He wanted to be the #1 pick. When Parcells would not commit to it, that's when he stayed back in school, and everybody was blown away that he chose to do that. So it wasn't that Peyton Manning screwed us. Bill Parcells screwed us. Peyton Manning wanted to be the guy in New York. Why? Because of everything that Richie and Matt and Ryan just said. Because if you do it here, you're a legend. And Peyton Manning thought, I'm absolutely going to do it there. It doesn't matter where I go, I'm going to do it. And that's the way Trevor Lawrence is thinking. All this is bullshit. But like Richie said, he's not even our quarterback. But if we do get that pick, he's coming. Don't worry about it.
So let's. So I didn't tell Richie this. We're going to do a mock draft through Pro Football Focus at 9:00, where we are going to be the Jets GM, and we're going to do a little simulation. I know Matt did a video on this week or last week, something like that.
I don't remember. Somewhere semi recently.
Within the last week. So if you guys want to hang around and watch the mock draft, we'll do that. So I'll ask you guys this: do you guys want us to only do the Jets and let everything simulate, or are there teams you guys would like to be the GM of on top of the Jets? Anyone can chirp up.
I'm down to be just the Jets.
I'm cool with just
whatever you want to do.
Let's do just the Jets. We're just the Jets. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this every week leading up to the draft, because rankings change. These Pro Football Focus things change. Like, the values of players change. So we'll see, where our headspace is, how it changes after free agency and that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll go through that. I saw a few things in the chat that I wanted to just jump on real quick. The 0 income tax for Florida is only for their home games. So actually, if you're Jacksonville and you're playing games in London, I guess you're playing like international taxes, and then you got your away games that you would be paying anyway. So it's only for that.
You guys know I travel around the country. That's what I do. I don't have a home base. Guess where my domicile is? Guess what state I am legally a resident of? Fucking Florida, man, for everything that you're saying. I mean, there are benefits, I assure you. So there are significant tax benefits, but like you said, it's not as big as it seems. Like you said, like, so if Jacksonville plays 2 games in London, then they're only doing 6 home games that they don't pay those taxes on. So it's not quite as attractive. And then everybody forgets that you were ever drafted unless you make noise like Ngakoue or Ramsey, you know?
Oh yeah. So let's flip this a little bit. I had an interesting question. Let's say the Jags get the number 1 overall pick. Is there a situation where Trevor Lawrence says, I don't want to play for the Jags. I want the Jets at number 2. So the Jets wind up having to trade up to number 1 or anything like that? Or do you think Trevor just goes to the Jags because he'll take whatever team, takes him? Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, well, I heard a really great interview on Sirius XM with the guy who's been the Clemson voice for the last 40 years. And he knows Trevor Lawrence very, very well, knows his family. He said, all this noise does not match the person that we're talking about. He said, he's going to go wherever the system tells him to go. That's who he is. He's going to, just like everybody before him, except for 2 players, he's going to go do what, so if he's the first pick and it's Cincinnati, it's the Jets, it's Jacksonville, it's Dallas, doesn't matter where it is, he's going to go. So that's what I tend to believe, that's what's going to happen. I don't think he's going to make any, swing his dick around and all that. So I don't think he's going to do any of that. I think he's just going to, hey, man, I'm first. Whoever's first, that's who gets me, and let's do this thing.
So, Matt, I want to get your thoughts in just a second. I saw 5011 made a comment that said John Elway declined New York. And he's saying he declined the Yankees, not the Jets. Matt,
he
what did
baseball?
Exactly. He declined baseball rather than going that route. Matt, do you think there's a situation where Trevor Lawrence, where the Jags get number 1, and Trevor Lawrence says, "No, I want to, pull an Eli Manning and go to New York"?
No, and it's people don't talk enough about Eli Manning being a scumbag for doing that. I always hated him for that. I think that was a crappy move. But no, he's gonna go. Whoever's picking 1, he's gonna go because that's his mindset. Green Bean said it best, man. He's a competitive dude. He's gonna say, all right, it's Jacksonville, sure. I'm gonna go and turn around that franchise and I'll put this team on the map, and then people will talk about it. It's the competitive edge. Athletes don't necessarily think like that. And specifically, competitive athletes who want to win. Some people are in it for the money, and maybe they would say, okay, yeah, sure, I want to go to New York and brand myself and stuff like that. But I don't see Trevor as that guy. I see him as that ultimate competitor who just wants to get after it.
Richie, any thoughts of if the Jags get number 1 overall, would Trevor Lawrence want to come to New York the same way Eli did?
I mean, I feel like whoever gets the first overall pick, which is obviously only up to the Jets and Jaguars at this point, I don't think that's going to happen. Would I want that to happen? Maybe, but I don't know how much the Jaguars would offer for that first pick. And I don't know if the Jets should do it, but maybe it is because he's that much of a generational talent. But I don't think that would be an issue. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to demand anything. I think whoever gets that first overall pick, he's going to be like, all right, like Matt said it best, I'll go turn around this franchise. I'm going to be the man, because he has that energy to him that he feels like he's the man and he could be the franchise guy for any organization he wants. And I feel like he has that energy around him that he can galvanize people, and he has that ability that a lot of quarterbacks lack, where he can elevate people around him. That maybe there's not a lot of talent and there's not that good coaching, but I'm still good enough to win ball games alone. And in the NFL, it's not an easy thing to do. It's hard to put your team on your back as a quarterback, but Trevor Lawrence, I feel like, has that in him. And I'm not saying whether he goes to the Jets or the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's going to have to do that, but I think he has the confidence in himself that it doesn't matter where he goes. I'm going to be getting paid $30 million at that first overall pick, and I want that money, and I want to be the first overall pick, and I want to be a beast.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think there's any way Trevor Lawrence pulls an Eli Manning. From what I remember, I'm pretty sure the way that the Eli Manning thing went down, I think the Manning family was unsure if the San Diego Chargers were going to be able to pay his contract demands at the time, because there was some volatility there. I could be completely wrong on it. But I think that played a big part, and I don't think there's any issue there with the Jets. V-Man says, the day the Jets make the Super Bowl, New York Jets YouTube has got to get together for the biggest Super Bowl party. By the way, Matt, please tell Ryan the Jets are going 0-16. Yes. Matt, tell me.
Yes. I'll give you the reasons. 1, Adam Gase awful on the road. 2, unfortunate, but Sam Darnold is playing like the worst quarterback in football. 3, Bill Belichick does not want to lose to an 0-15 team, even if it could potentially help him out down the line. He hates the Jets. He wants them to go 0-16. He wants to embarrass the entire organization. And Jarrett Stidham could still throw on this Jets defense. So I am not in the least bit concerned.
And you got to tell me they're going 0-16.
Oh, they're going 0-16. Of course, they're going 0-16.
I love it. I love it. All right. So I want to get into one quick topic before we go into our mock draft. And I want to get Richie's thoughts on this. Should the Jets hire Bill Cowher? There's been rumblings over the course of the last week and a half. I know he said, I'm not, talking about a job that's not open. I'm not interested in coaching, all the different talking points that we've heard. When Tony Sparano was rumored to get fired from Miami, Bill Cowher was going to get lined up for an interview, and Bill Cowher came out and said he wasn't going to interview, until that job was open. So do you think that Bill Cowher, if the Jets job is open, would take the Jets job, assuming we get the number 1 overall pick and are going to take Trevor Lawrence? Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first. What do you think about Bill Cowher?
Well, I mean, I've done a lot of thinking about this one over the past week and stuff. Number one, I don't think, well, let me say this. I didn't think there was too much to it, but those comments that he made are interesting. Now, they just kind of toe the line that he's always held, so it's not necessarily out of character for him to say that, but he could have very simply said, I'm not coaching anymore, but he didn't. He said it in a very specific way that was what sparked me, like, maybe there is something to this. Let me say this. I think that, and this is because of Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7. I don't know if you guys have watched his channel, but it's good if you guys want to go over there and check that guy out. But he said something that made me think, which was, if Bill Cowher comes along, it's specifically to have that guy to run the entire organization from a coaching standpoint, and not to run the offense, not to run the defense. And then there's still, a very intensive search on the offense and defensive coordinators, and he just gels the whole thing. I would be into it, man. I would be into it. I'm still hoping they get Matt Campbell. That's my number 1, with Greg Roman holding up the rear. Yeah, I think I'd be into it overall.
Matt, what do you think about the prospects of getting Bill Cowher? You think it happens?
I really don't think he ends up leaving. I'm not opposed to the idea. I think a lot of things about him are extremely intriguing. I do think there is a little bit of risk there, but I think the positives far outweigh the potential negatives with Cowher. I think this is more speculation than there's any leverage here behind it or any legs to this. I just think he has a comfortable job at CBS. At this point, he's been out of the game for a while. I think he's good where he is. He kind of reminds me of like when Gruden was getting, every 2 years, he's like, oh, wait, he's going to go and be this team's coach or this other team's coach. But
it happened, though. It happened.
I guess someone gave him $100 million. I don't think we're giving him 10 years and $100 million.
I would give Cowher whatever the years he needs. If it's 5 years, $50 million, or 5 years, $60 million, give him $12 million a year. It doesn't count against the cap. Do it. Get us there. Give us a head coach.
No, I know. I don't know.
You don't think it's happening?
Something in my gut's telling me that next fall, he's going to be on CBS right next to Boomer and the rest of them.
Richie, what do you think about Bill Cowher? He's coming out of retirement or no?
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's hard to talk about this because it's all speculation. It's all what ifs. And if the question was, would I want him to be the Jets head coach? 100%. He checks off every single box I want for the next New York Jets head coach, which is a CEO type of guy that it does not coach one side of the ball, and he can be a guy that galvanizes everybody and bring a culture to the team and build the foundation properly. And that is the exact opposite of what this New York Jets team has had. They've always picked scheme over, leadership. Adam Gase, offensive-minded coach. Todd Bowles, defensive-minded coach. And yes, I know there's a lot of successful coaches in the NFL today that are one-sided head coaches, but this New York Jets team in particular needs somebody like a Bill Cowher who's done it. He is a successful coach. He's done it for so long. And yes, he has not done it for a while. He's been out of the game since 2007, I believe. And I know the question was, will he come out of retirement? But you know what? I don't think it happens. I don't think I'm getting lost into the hype of him finally coming out and becoming the Jets head coach. I would love for it to happen, though, because like you guys said, we would get put a lot of intense research into the coordinators. We'll get our own guy in offense, our own guy in defense. Cowher does not have to worry about one side of the ball. He will be coaching up the entire team. And I feel like he would be a really good match with Joe Douglas in his vision to build his team properly. But, man, I feel like Cowher would be a very interesting but a very interesting person to take over the New York Jets head coach position. And honestly, I know that a lot of people are like, yeah, but he hasn't been coaching for a while. He's old. He's not up to par of the next generation of the NFL. The game has evolved. Well, the other thing I would say to that is I feel like he is such a brilliant NFL-minded person. He's a football guy where he can adjust. It's not like he's been sitting on his couch not watching football for the past 13 years. He's been in CBS. He's been analyzing everything. He's been obviously has a passion for football still. And you know that he has somewhat of a desire to coach again if all these rumors are coming up. These rumors will not come out of thin air. Boomer is talking about it because he came up to him and showed him coach's film. And that tells you like maybe he does want to get into the swing of things. We all know his wife is a diehard Jets fan. So maybe it is a match made in heaven. Maybe Bill Cowher, if we do get that first overall pick, and that's the only reason he would come, he's not coming without that, then I would be all for it. Give him the money. Like you said, Ryan, does not count against the cap. Give him all the money you need, the Johnsons, even though they're cheap and they won't do it. But yeah, I'm all in on Bill Cowher.
I love it. Yeah, look, if I'm being honest, I don't think Cowher's coming out of retirement. I think he's trying to use this as leverage to get more money out of CBS, and then I think he'll stay retired there. But who knows? We'll see. Guys, we have over 330 people in this stream. It is Green Bean's birthday today. If you want to wish him a happy birthday, drop a like on this video and get us up over 200. All right, let's go into a mock draft simulation. So we are going to be the New York Jets. Let me see if I can do this without fudging it all up, so bear with me here. I should have set this up prior to this. I think I got to do window capture. I'm going to do, all right, bam, we're all here. Let me just drag this down so we're actually fitting the little box that is Streamlabs. Come on, move around. Oh, I'm definitely dragging the wrong box around. There we go. Okay, so when I get back to our regularly scheduled programming, I'm going to wind up with the wrong stuff. All right. How do I share my screen? Share screen. We're going to share, which window is it? This one. All right. Let's see. Did it work? I'm frozen on my other side. Give me just a second. Can you guys see the thing I'm trying to pull up? Let me try and do this again.
Yeah,
back out of the... All right. Let me try this one more time. I think Streamlabs is like crying right now because I'm trying to do too much stuff at once. They're like, oh, you got a zillion windows up. All right, so I'm still frozen. Let me back out of this and see if this... Okay, so something's going funky with that. Let me try to do a little bit of fancy finagling around here. Give me just a second here. Maybe if I share this, you know what? I'll share the screen first, and then we'll see if that works. Window capture, zoom. Oh no, it doesn't like that. All right. All right, so maybe I have to do window capture. That's probably what I got to do. Window capture. Oh, I apologize. I should have definitely tested this before.
Oh, this is fun. This is fun. I like it. I like what's going on. I do. This is good. Makes me feel
So
better
I'm
about
adding a new
myself.
source. My computer's just crying at me right now. Bam. All right, there it is. That's what we're looking at. Oh man, good thing I don't have any of my porn linked up on the on my tabs up there. Oh Jesus Christ! No, if you're not using incognito mode, you're doing it wrong. All right, let's see if I can. Come on. All right. So this is our mock draft simulator. Let's see how it goes here. We're going to do our New York Jets. Okay, we are on the clock. Yeah. Are we all in agreement we're taking Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I would say
Okay,
so.
we're taking Trevor Lawrence here. Let's see what
I want to
happens.
trade it.
Where we end up.
So
It's not
bad.
showing me any of the stats. I should have logged in here. I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I'm jumping over to the Windows side of my computer. I saw it when
Sewell made it to 9. Look at him. Look at this.
Did that cornerback from Alabama go yet? Because I know Matt was able to select him, Surtain or Surtain.
Yeah, no way. He's going in the top 10.
All right, so the
No,
Jets have. He's still here.
Yeah,
The hell?
Yeah.
all effed up from PFF, man.
All right.
Yeah, it's
should
weird.
we
They're
go
all
with him or should
they're
we
all so different. I don't
So
know.
let-
I want
let's
to
do
give.
this.
I
Let's-
want to.
I don't feel like when
Listen.
you see Pro Football Focus rank right here and it says 13, that doesn't tell me that he should be available at 25. So let's try to dial it back a little bit. And Let's
Yeah.
go into somewhere in this ranking. Who are we taking? Let's say this is who we're looking at right here because we're 25 and beyond.
Look, you got to do it. You got to stick to the plan, right? So what was the big problem with Sam Darnold? Was our next pick was a defensive tackle. We got it. If we're going to take Trevor Lawrence, we have to show him we're committed to him. So we got to take a lineman. The interior line is weak. It's either a center or a guard, or you got to get him somebody to play with. It being a wide receiver, or in my opinion, one of these dynamic ass tight ends that are up top of this draft. So that's my thoughts. Guard, center, wide receiver, fallback, tight end.
So I hope I have stalled
Unless
long
there's
enough
an
where
edge.
you guys can actually see it on the YouTube screen because I just realized you guys can't see it on the shared screen. Matt, what do you think of the 25th
Yeah, that's what
pick
I'm looking
here?
at. Is that what
Yeah, I'm looking at YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm watching the YouTube thing. Okay.
Yeah, me too. It's fine. Looks good.
So we
what-
got Wyatt Davis. Ooh, Carlos Basham's still there though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Davis. I think in this spot, Green Bean made a good point with the offensive line. If you really want to bolster that up, there's no way in hell in real life Surtain is there. But if we want to make this semi-realistic, I think that Davis here is a possibility. If he's gone by 25, I would not be stunned. But I think the offensive line is what I would do in this spot.
And I also think that's what Joe Douglas would do. I feel like Joe Douglas has said from the start he's prioritizing this offensive line since he got here. We saw the revamped O-line. His first pick ever as a Jets general manager was Mekhi Becton. And I had a feeling that he's going to draft an offensive lineman in the first round for the next 3 or 4 years. That was my prediction when it first happened. So I'm all in on Wyatt Davis. I feel like we need to bring in a first-round talent along with Mekhi Becton to build these offensive line the right way. Excuse me.
Yeah, hey,
Let me
I
say
agree
one-
with you guys. Go for it,
Let me
Green Bean.
say
What you got?
Let me say one thing though. If it was realistic and a guy like Surtain, who's a top 10 pick, made it to 25, it would probably be impossible to ignore that.
Mhm.
Just saying it. Even though I just gave you my whole diatribe and everything, I just want to throw that in. I still think we should go offensive line or
Also-
wide receiver.
The Jaguars took 2 quarterbacks in the first round. They took Mac Jones and Justin Fields. Just wanted to toss that out there.
Justin Fields. Where's
did.
the other? Where's the other Jaguars pick?
They took.
3.
Mac Jones.
Dude, come on. What is that horse shit?
This is just how realistic. I'm glad you're keeping us honest because I would have never picked up on that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so the Jaguars wind up
Right.
taking 2 quarterbacks in the first round. So that tells you how realistic this is. So I like your guys' thought process. I think, assuming we don't get one of the stud guards from like Tooney or Scherf or one of those guys, we're taking Wyatt Davis here at this pick. Joe Douglas, former offensive lineman, obviously wants to rebuild this line, doesn't want to have what happened to Trevor or to Sam to Trevor Lawrence. I thought this was a 3 round. What the hell did they do?
You might have went one.
Oh,
I think we got to find
do
a
7.
What the hell? Let's do this again. New mock.
Yeah,
3
7
round.
rounds. Let's
3
do it.
round. I don't have the option to go
Aw.
further than 3. All right,
12
so okay,
rounds.
let's do this again. Okay, we're gonna do Trevor.
Look
We're
at
gonna
that
assume it's
first pick. We need that first pick, man. Come on, look
nice
at
and
it.
easy. Whoa, hold on. Trey Lance was the pick for the Jaguars, and then they went with fucking Jeremiah Owusu for the linebacker for the Bengals. This
Yeah,
is stupid.
come on.
How
This
do you
is
not
stupid.
take? Where's the Oregon guard? Is he even up there
Hold
yet?
on.
Penny Sewell at
Kyle's
10.
this-
This makes no fucking sense. This is why you can't trust Pro Football Focus on a lot of stuff.
right.
All right. So did we lose our fucking guard? Is that what happened just now? Did we lose him? He's somewhere in here. He was 30,
No,
right? Okay,
he's
we're
there.
taking Wyatt. We're taking Wyatt Davis.
All right, good enough.
Yeah.
Ugh. That was a process. All right, so now we're sitting at the top of the second round. Is there a position we're kind of thinking that we want to attack at the top of the second round? That's probably where we'll try to gauge this, and I'll drag this down. We're gonna look from 32 on, just because I don't trust
Yeah.
anything that's going on with Pro Football Focus right now.
Well, I really think I think at this point, if you want to go defense, it has to be edge with cornerback. Potentially Sean Wade is great. I love Sean Wade. I probably wouldn't pull the trigger. I think if you're going to go defense, it has to be edge, or I would probably go here receiver, or I would go receiver or edge, or if Freiermuth was there, I would take the tight end. That's me. I know you guys don't like that, but that's me.
Matt,
Yeah,
what do you
it's
think?
I haven't seen.
Go for it.
I think Green Bean's sleeping on corner a little bit. I think this is a massive need for the team, and they were I mean, if you don't want to go further up, even Asante Samuel Jr. right there at 33 is
Yeah.
right in the face. I wouldn't mind that. I think corner or edge would be one of my 2 thought processes here.
Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we need to go defense. We have so many holes on that defensive side of the ball, but at the same time, we want a dynamic offense, and we've been ignoring the offense for a long time. So, we got 2 first-round picks. We picked a quarterback. We picked a guard. I think now it's time to pick a edge rusher because we've been lacking that true edge presence for so long, and we have a really good young core already in that interior defensive line with Quinnen Williams, Foley Fatukasi, and Jonathan Franklin Myers. I feel like an elite edge rusher would unlock that defensive line even more. But at the same time, the one thing I will say about these mock drafts is it's really hard to do this, as we all know, without knowing the free agency. Because, I mean, we're going to be doing that the whole offseason. I mean, we're not going to know free agency while we're making all these mock draft videos. But put that in account, we could go out there and sign a big ticket edge rusher. So then we don't take an edge rusher in the second round. We could take a wide receiver, or we could take a corner. So my gut's telling me edge rusher because in this scenario, we did not sign one.
So
and
I
Aiden
just want to point out,
Hutchinson is in my top 5.
I want to circle this. Mike Jones Jr. ranked 61st, was taken 30th by the Steelers. So just shows you how much they care about their own rankings. Okay, so I'm leaning the side of cornerback. I agree with Matt. I am very much. I think corner is a huge need for the New York Jets. And I think that I do think edge. I think edge is a huge need as well. I think there's less available at the cornerback market in free agency and more available at the edge market in free agency. So you got Shaq Barrett, Melvin Ingram, Bud Dupree, Matthew Judon. There's going to be a lot of options hitting free agency potentially if they make it that far, as well as guys that are going to get cut because of the drop in cap. So I'm going to go the route of a cornerback. I'm going to say I'm going to break the tie. I'm going to use Asante Samuel Jr. just because I had him on my mock draft. Only I had him in like the 4th round, I think.
Yeah,
so that
Sean
that has
Wade.
changed.
Okay.
He's going to go at some point. So then we're going to have the 65th pick. So as we're moving down towards the beginning of the 3rd round, what do you guys think we should attack? We have gone quarterback, we have gone guard, we have gone cornerback. What's the next pick? Is it edge? Is it running back? Is it wide receiver? What's our next pick at 65?
Receiver, potentially, but I think there's a gap in the receiver talent right here at this point. Look at J.C. Horn still sitting there. Oh my God.
What the
Who we got in the edges? The edge rusher.
Let's see. Let's take a look. I could probably
receiver or edge. Where's Freiermuth?
Ooh, Joe Tryon. I was a big Joe Tryon guy. He's ranked 60th, so I could
Yeah.
sign off on that if you guys want to do that one. But I'm also open to the other positions as well.
Quincy Roche is still there, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
You wouldn't take Roche over Tryon?
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm only biased towards Tryon because I had him in my mock draft. I don't have anything like I'm not dying on this hill. So, are we thinking edge or are we thinking a different position? Matt, let's get your thoughts.
I would go either edge or wide receiver in this spot, I think.
All right. Richie, what are you thinking? Edge, wide receiver, or something completely different?
Yeah, I think wide receiver is the best bet. We need to get Trevor Lawrence playmakers, and I feel like we did sign someone in the free agency at the wide receiver position. Obviously, the speculation, but I feel like we need to get depth at that spot. We saw how detrimental this team was in the beginning of the year with all these injuries, so we need to be prepared for another injury-riddled season to the wide receiver spot. Not saying it will happen again, but Joe Douglas is going to learn from his mistakes. So my guess, or my pick rather, is wide receiver for sure.
Ooh, okay.
Who you taking, Richie? Who are you taking out of that batch?
I don't know any of these guys. I'll be honest.
I haven't done a lot of research into the draft for this draft class yet, so I don't really have a really good answer for that.
I like
Surratt. Yeah, he's good, right, Matt?
Yeah, I like Surratt.
So Surratt, or are we going with the edge? Receiver or edge here? Let's. I feel like we're kind of split. I could go either way. I'm good on that. I'm a little leaning towards edge just because it's such a big need. But I think edge and wide receiver are the two spots in free agency that we could address prior to the draft. Yeah. What do we want, edge or receiver?
I think the fact that Quincy Roche is still there, you got it. In my opinion, you would have to grab him, just like with Ja'Kai Polite.
All right. Oh, God, don't give me those bad shades. We'll say, okay, so we're saying edge. So we have now taken Trevor Lawrence at 1. We have taken Wyatt Davis, the guard out of Ohio State, at 25 with the Seahawks pick. We have taken a cornerback in Asante Samuel Jr. at the top of the second round. Top of the third round is Quincy Roche, the edge rusher from Miami, the U. Now we are going to have the Seahawks third round pick. And now we're looking at our big board. So we have taken quarterback, guard, edge, corner. What position are we looking at? I have a hunch we're going offense, but what are you guys thinking?
Yeah,
Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, it's got to be a receiver in my opinion. Is Surratt still there? Did he get taken?
Let's see. Bam.
I like Seth Williams.
I like Seth Williams too.
Yeah, I like him a lot, Matt.
So Seth Williams is there if we want to take him. You guys are thinking wide receiver? I gotta like the urge to take a running back. I don't know who's available.
Yeah, who's there? I want to say, and I'm gonna say, Chuba Hubbard. So, I like him.
Let's say running back. Let's see who we got. None of the guys are really. So Chuba Hubbard is there, the Oklahoma State running back. Javonte Williams is the top one on the board right now. Oh God, I don't know. I had all the guys I would have liked for running back are gone at this point. We're pick 89. Pro Football Focus is saying Chuba Hubbard is 82, so that's in the wheelhouse. Are we thinking?
Yeah.
Ooh, we have a trade with another team. I didn't know that was a thing. What?
Who wants to trade? I'm in. I listen.
All right, let's screw around with this.
I listened to this.
I didn't know this was a thing.
I did one the other day. I did one the other day where I accepted one version of every single trade that was offered to me. I had 21 picks with like 15 additional for next year. It was insane.
So the Jets would get
21 picks.
The Packers are interested in trading with the Jets in this scenario. We trade down to 92. So we'd go back 3 spots. I don't know who the Packers are coming up to get, but if we want 92, what other pick would we want from them? I don't know if you guys can see the screen. These are the picks that we can choose from.
3 spots.
To go down 3 spots.
This is a Joe Douglas move.
It is.
I think we slide down the 3 picks. Pick up an extra body.
178 and 209. That's what does it? Try. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm good with that. Let's see what we get.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of trades. I mean, we saw so many trades last year in his first draft.
Trade not accepted. Let's take away 209. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, okay.
3 attempts remaining. Okay, so we're clearly not getting 178. Okay, you know what we're going to do then? We're going to try and get their 3rd-round pick for next year. Let's see if that works.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, let's try their 4th-round pick for next year. Come on.
You know why? Because it's only 3 spots back, so they're probably wanting to give us like a 6th.
All right,
I mean?
they can go kick
That's
rocks. I'm not
probably-
doing it. Nope, not doing it. We're taking the pick.
Screw
All right,
you.
so
I know they want to trade. They don't want to play ball.
all right, so let's pull up I'll pull up wide receiver. I'll pull up. Oops, my bad. Wide receiver, and we're gonna pull up running back. All right, so according to Pro Football Focus, Terrence Marshall, Chuba Hubbard, Elijah Moore, Trey Sermon, Jalen Darden. Then we start getting a little bit lower into guys I have no idea about. You guys feeling any particular way? Wide receiver or running back? I feel like it's probably coming down to Chuba Hubbard, or if there's a
I would
receiver
take
you
Seth
guys
Williams.
like. Seth Williams?
Yes.
Yeah, that's me. I like him.
All right.
you.
I think
I'm with
I
it.
think Richie and I have no idea what's going on with the receivers this late, so I'm good with it. All right, so we're taking the wide
yet.
receiver there, and then let's see if they give us a good grade or a bad grade on this.
I haven't
What do
done
you
my
think the
homework
grade
yet
is?
on these wide receivers, but I will, especially the later rounds. I love doing that. I just haven't done it yet.
Oh
Yeah, the later
well,
rounds are the most
It's
fun.
so hard to try
For
and
sure.
grade guys right now, especially because like any rankings that we have. Ooh, so my only pick, I pick Asante Samuel Jr. That got a C, so I did not do well apparently. Trevor Lawrence A+, Wyatt Davis B+, Asante Samuel Jr. C, Quincy Roche B+, Seth Williams B+. So overall draft grade A-. I'll take that all day.
Thanks, PFF.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I'm not necessarily a fan of this particular layout that they had going on, but hey, you know what? That was kind of fun.
Yes.
Let me see. I think I can get rid of this.
People are saying. Just want to tell you, numerous people are saying that we're blurry. Is that they can't see what we're doing?
Blurry
No.
right now. It's possible. I have no idea how that actually works. So
Yeah.
Supposedly
all
the
right,
result
we're back.
bad, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's probably because I have a
Yeah.
zillion different windows open right now. My computer's screaming at me.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess
Need
we
more
could
RAM.
jump- Yeah, I need more RAM. This computer's like robust too. It's just me like throwing way too much at it. I got OBS up. I got like 3 different windows. I got Zoom up. I got an audio mixer up. I have StreamYard up. I'm like literally like making my computer cry right now. So they're saying use Draft Network. All right, yeah. I'm good with attempting this. Let's see.
Yeah, Draft Network's good, but they don't allow trades if you're not a member. But PFN
okay.
does. PFN's rankings are all over the place though. But it's a fun draft, but I mean, dude, I got Trey Smith in like the 6th or 5th. It was like,
All right,
come
let's
on.
see.
It's a
Yeah.
Which teams will we be selecting? We're gonna say the Jets. Whoop. Continue without sporting. Sorry. All right,
Jets.
next we're gonna go manual draft. Draft simulator will run until it's your turn. On your turn, you'll be able to select the player. All right. Select the draft pick speed. I guess just normal, right? I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything different.
We're not
with
seeing
that.
this on the screen yet.
Yeah, no, I know. Let me throw that up there. I just
Oh.
wanted to get onto it.
Got it.
Bam. All right. Add source. Come on. All right, let me drag this around a little bit. Let me make it fit on the screen again. All right. I'm just gonna like drag this up. I don't know if that actually works with where we're at, but let's give it a whirl. All right. So we're taking Trevor Lawrence first overall. Nice and easy. Let's see where things go. Oh, this makes a lot more sense. Not so much the Jamar Chase pick by the Bengals, but whatever. It's within a reasonable standard deviation. We see Surtain going in the top 10 like he should.
Yeah, this makes a little more sense so far. You only did
I like
one
this.
by the way.
Oh, son of a. Okay, hold on. Let's
we backing
get
out?
out of this. Yep, let's back out before we get any further here. All right. Start mock draft. We're doing the Jets And we're gonna go. We'll do 3 rounds. I'm assuming.
Whatever you want.
I'll do 10.
I don't
Make
know
it
why it doesn't. Maybe I could just click through. Oh shit! I don't know what I did. Do I need to like select something different? It doesn't. 3. I'll go back to manual. There we go. That kind of worked. All right. We're going to start the draft. We're taking Trevor Lawrence 1 overall. All right. Oh, they don't take a quarterback, the Jaguars. God, now we're all over the place.
Who'd they take?
They took Penei Sewell.
Oh, look at that.
Patrick Surtain goes 3.
Rousseau, Farley, yeah.
Let's see if I can get that on the screen. Bam.
Wyatt Davis is already.
Yeah, they're right. This is a little more realistic.
Yeah.
This feels like
Cosme's
it's
gone,
making a little more sense.
Indeed.
All right. So we're up. They're
right,
saying these are the top players. What are we taking with this lineup of guys here?
Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman's still there, man. I might have to jump on that.
That's one guy I do know for sure.
Yeah, I could get on board with that. I think based on what I'm looking at here, I'm fine with that selection. You guys good?
Let's do it.
All right, Bateman, we're taking a receiver, boys.
Yay!
So now we've
Denzel,
got
future.
Oh yeah, we've got
Right.
cornerback, or we got quarterback, and we got wide receiver scratched off our list. They're saying our next biggest needs are cornerback and edge, which I think we can all probably agree on. So based on who we got here, I see Sean Wade sitting there. I know Green Bean was high on him in our last draft. Is that who you're taking, Green Bean? Sean Wade?
With the second first, I wouldn't, but I love him. If that's what you guys want to do, I like
It's the second. It's the second round. It's the first pick of the second round.
Who'd we take with our? How the hell? Where'd I go?
We took Bateman.
The second.
What are you sleeping over
Bateman.
there?
Oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence. Holy shit. Yeah, that's right.
No,
I
it's his
forgot.
birthday.
All right,
He's just
sorry.
getting hazy. He's 100 years old.
I'm high, man. Yeah, I'm high. Yeah,
Who are we
I
taking?
think that's good then. Yeah,
You
go
guys
ahead.
think the cornerback? We're taking
You guys-
Sean Wade?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Now we have now taken quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback, which means our next pick should probably be either running back or edge rusher or interior offensive line.
Yeah.
I think O-line should be the pick now.
Ooh.
I don't know. Yeah, it depends
Let's
on
see
who's
who's-
there. Aiden
see who's
Hutchinson
there.
just went. Yeah, shit.
Ooh,
I was.
I got
hoping he
my.
slipped.
I know who I want. I hope he doesn't go. Come on. Yeah, my boy. I want Daniel Falele. This is the guy that's he's 400 pounds, 6'9",
Yeah.
right tackle out of
Yeah, no,
Minnesota.
The only guy on earth that makes Becton look small.
Dude, he's
I'm with it.
enormous. I'm all about it. The guy's
We
a
need two
friggin'
mountains.
freight train. It's like, yeah, you got Twin Peaks on the Jets offensive line. Matt, what are you thinking?
If you guys want to do that, I was just looking to see if there's any interior offensive linemen. I don't see anyone really all that close.
Deontay Brown.
Deontay Brown's good. I think I don't know. I'd probably go Falele over him, but I want to just say this. I know all three of you will disagree. There's no way I wouldn't take Pat Fryermuth right here. No
Well, that's
way.
just it. He's supposed to. People are talking about him going in the first round eventually. So, like, that would be if he falls to this pick. He would have to be the selection, I think. I'd like to think this is a little more realistic. So, so we'll go with the tackle here. That's who I've had like a man crush on this guy since I did my mock draft during the bye week. So, I'm all about it. All right. So now we have taken quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback, and right tackle. So we're heading to our last pick in the third round, pick number 88. What position are we thinking here, guys?
We didn't grab our edge yet. Right?
Yeah, it could be edge. But
We
I
didn't
feel like
grab
we
our
always
edge.
draft an edge in the third round and never works.
So they say our needs are edge, linebacker, running back, tight end.
How is
Those
Patrick
are the.
still there? That's what I want to know.
Patrick Jones, yeah, that would be the pick.
You think?
I know.
that's
I
the
just
pick?
assumed he was gone. I assumed he was gone. I even look at that. He's still
I love me some
93.
Kenneth Gainwell. I love the running back out of Memphis. He opted out
I
this
know
year
you
because
do.
4 of his family members died of COVID. So this is the guy I'm like eyeballing right here. But I understand edge is a huge need. So if we think Patrick Jones is a legitimate starter, I'm okay with that. If we think he's a developmental guy, I'm taking Gainwell because I think Gainwell's a legit starter right now. And I think picking starters over the developmental kind of thing might be a little more beneficial for a Trevor Lawrence. Just sort of my thoughts there. Richie, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I like that take that we need to win now. If we're getting Lawrence, we need to give him playmakers. Or we're getting Bateman. And if we get him a running back that is ready to play right away, and he can be with LaMichael Pirine and who knows who else we bring back, or we sign someone to free agency, I like the running back selection. And honestly, drafting an edge presence in the 3rd round has never worked for the Jets. And you bring up a good point. You know, are we drafting someone to develop, or are we drafting someone to play right now and be a contributor? So I would run away from an edge rusher from the 3rd round, but you know, that's just because I understand what the Jets have done in the previous years. Doesn't mean it's going to happen every year. I hope that the Jets get an edge rusher earlier so they don't have to, so we can get a really big ticket guy if they don't sign one. But I like the running back because I feel like this is a draft we need to get a running back to pair up with Pirine.
Let me just
I do want to point out that Joe Tryon went literally 1 pick ahead of us to the Browns. the edge rusher from Washington that I was looking at.
Yeah. But let me just say this, just to counter Richie's point, while what he's saying is valid. The reason that our 3rd round pick defensive linemen and edge rushers didn't work is because our GMs were idiots. Just like last year with Joe Douglas taking Denzel Mims in the 2nd. The 2nd round is a polluted place for us to pick wide receivers. We have a long history of failure there. Denzel Mims is not going to be a failure because Joe Douglas knows what he's doing. I think if Patrick Jones was here and we took him, you would see our first edge rusher come from the 3rd round that was ready to start turnkey and had an impact.
So what's your thoughts of Jabari?
Zuniga, I think he's going to need a minute. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot coming out. Liked him a
Me
lot. My concern with him was injury, and that's what we saw. You know?
I would say I'm on the to be determined train for Zuniga. So if there's a guy that we really like at edge, I'm not going to let that sort of prevent me from taking one, I guess. Matt, what are your thoughts on edge or player in the 3rd round?
I think Chuba Hubbard is better than Kenneth Gainwell, and I also think Patrick Jones is someone who could potentially go in the 1st round, at worst early 2nd. So if he was here, I would absolutely, if it was up to me, I would absolutely take Patrick Jones.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm good with the edge. We need the edge badly. Does this one offer us a grade at the end? I think it does, right?
It could. It very well could.
Let's see what happens. Let's see if we get a decent grade here. I feel like that's pretty rock solid. We've taken some of our biggest needs because running back we can solve. That can get selected in the 4th round, so I'm not upset with that. I guess it doesn't give us a grade. Nope, it'll just give us.
I'll give it to us. I'll do it.
I think it's an A+. It is an
Hell
A+.
yeah.
Of course.
Abso-friggin-lutely. All right.
Dude, look at that.
So Richard Delgado, Delgado, says, as a Cowboys fan, this is the guy that said as a Seahawks fan before, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, as a Jaguars fan. So maybe he's not actually a Jaguars fan. Maybe he's just, talking to us about, if he was this or that. He says, as a Cowboys fan, what's your choice of drink to drown sorrows away? For me, I'm a big IPA guy. So I would take, I'm drinking Founders Centennial IPA right now. That's my go-to at this moment. Green Bean, what's your choice of beverage or vape cartridge that you're using? Monster, I love it. Matt, what about you? What's your drink of choice?
I don't drink, so.
Yeah. I usually like to go with Jack Daniel's Honey. Rocks. That's just my drink for Sundays and this Jets stream that we do.
I like it. Richie, what about you? What's your go-to?
Not gonna lie, I am a legal medical marijuana patient, so that's my answer.
What? Yo, Jersey went green. Let's go. I know.
New York is next.
It's so good. Oh, that's right. You're New York. Oh, God.
Yeah, man.
Matt, you're New York too? I'm excited. Jersey goes green. I was going to I was gonna say something when we when the vote went through originally, and I didn't actually do it. But all right, so let's go through some of our comment questions that we could possibly have in the side here. Where am I at? I almost threw Green Bean's question up there.
Jack, shout out to Jack in the chat.
Jack.
Oh yeah,
Who's in the
Jack,
chat?
what's up, buddy?
Where are we looking? Oh, what's
Pot
good,
is
dude?
tight. Pot is tight.
It's
from Jack.
the devil's lettuce. The devil's lettuce. That's my favorite euphemism for that. I think that is just fantastic.
Thanks for the subscribe, Mitt Flair. Appreciate that, man.
I'm trying to refresh so I can get some comments popping up that I could populate on the screen here. Let's see. Computer screen.
No name. No name says water and coffee. No name. I just drank a huge mug of Death Wish right before the chat. Death Wish, the strongest coffee on earth.
I like it.
Green loves himself some caffeine.
I love it.
Ooh, here's a good question by Terry Monroe. It's not really a question, but he says, since 1999, Couch, Vic, Carr, Palmer, Eli, Smith, Russell, Stafford, Bradford, Newton, Luck, Winston, Goff, Mayfield, Murray, Burrow, all picked number one and only one Super Bowl. One Super Bowl winner. So Eli's got the 2 rings. I will counter this by saying the majority of Super Bowls since 1999 have been won by Tom Brady, who has taken a contract half of what it should have been, which should absolutely be illegal in the NFL. That should not be allowed. Mm-hmm. The fact that he's making money through his TB12 clinic as the Patriots' health clinic, and that doesn't count against the cap. He's the CEO. Whenever they, put out any medical aid, he's getting profits off of it, and that doesn't count against the salary cap. So this is heavily, heavily skewed towards Tom Brady, in my opinion. But Green Bean, what do you think about Terry's comment about the number 1 overall picks not winning Super Bowls?
Yeah, I think you nailed that. That was going to be my thing, is that the Patriots, the last 20 years have been dominated by the Patriots. And it's just one of those things, man. Like you said, there's a lot of nefarious baloney that went on there. It's not being looked at. It's baloney, but it's in our past now. But that's the thing, is that we had a dominant franchise in the league. So, I don't think it has anything to do with the number 1 pick thing. Tom Brady's it's the man, bro. Sucks.
It does suck. Matt, what do you think about number 1 overall picks not having Super Bowls?
Yeah, well, remember, I don't know if it was up until last year or a couple of years ago, there's this graphic that CBS would always put up, and it was like quarterbacks to represent the AFC since 2001, and every single one it was Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, and then one random Joe Flacco in 2012. That was it. So it's not, we have very limited options that we could choose from. I don't really buy too much into the notion that a number 1 draft pick can't win a Super Bowl. Couch, yeah, not great. Vic had some off the field issues. Palmer got hurt. Eli did it. Smith was weird. Let's see. Stafford on an awful team, but good quarterback. Luck was great. Like, I don't think
Newton went to a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. That's right. Goff went to a Super Bowl. Who knows about Mayfield, Burrow, and Murray? Like, I feel like those teams are on the rise right now anyway. So, I don't necessarily buy into the notion that a number 1 overall pick can't potentially win a Super Bowl.
Richie, what do you think about the number 1 overall pick and not winning Super Bowls?
I think you got to factor in as well that all these quarterbacks went to really bad organizations, because if you have the first overall pick in the draft, you are the worst team in the NFL. So maybe that has a lot to do with it. And we're right there. We are the worst team in the NFL, so we deserve that first overall pick more than anybody in the NFL. So I don't read too much into it. I think the Jets and Joe Douglas could turn it around with Trevor Lawrence if we do get him. But it is interesting. Honestly, didn't know that, to be honest with you guys, that only one Super Bowl winner since 1999 that they won a Super Bowl. It's very interesting. But like I said, I think a lot has to do with this. They're getting drafted into poor organizations, but at the same time, they're not poor organizations that listed here. They all went to respected places. So it's an interesting fact, but I don't think it really factors into the old Trevor Lawrence with the Jets thing.
Yeah, so one thing I'll add to this, and I've been doing a little bit of research for a video. I'm just not exactly sure how to do it. I might release it around Super Bowl. But since the rookie contracts have become a thing for the NFL, that was 2010. That was the CBA, and I believe 2011 was the first year with Cam Newton was the first rookie contract that was like slated. So since that point in time, if you look at the winners and losers of the Super Bowl era, there's been 18 different 18 different quarterbacks, 9 Super Bowls since then. 8 of those 18 were quarterbacks on rookie deals, and then there was a large portion that was Brady taking less money than he should have. But I also went into a little bit of detail in terms of the percentage of cap that they take up, because that's a key thing. Like, you could have a really high cap number, but if it's not high compared to the what the actual total salary cap number is, it's not the worst thing in the world. Now, that said, the highest percentage of cap that has won a Super Bowl is Tom Brady, and that is at 12.2% of the overall cap. And then I believe the highest to get into the Super Bowl was Matt Ryan at 15. So he really could have won it. If the Falcons don't fall apart in that game. Now, you could argue if he didn't have 15% of the cap, do they not fall apart because they have more players on defense or more players on offense that prevent that from possibly happening? But when I'm looking at this comment here, I'm thinking, Vic, if Vic was in today's NFL, I think he's a drastically different type of player. I think he was way ahead of his time in terms of the running style. But he didn't have a shot. He wound up, actually, no, he did have a relatively good shot with the Eagles. He almost got there. I feel like was that NFC Championship game that they wound up making it to, or maybe it was the divisional round. Palmer, I thought, could have before the ACL injury. Eli's got the 2 rings. Alex Smith was in a Super Bowl with the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken. Or was he traded? Was he traded that year, or was it the year after? I don't remember. Either way, they were good enough to get into a Super Bowl with him. Jamarcus Russell, one of the biggest busts of all time. Stafford, I think, is a great quarterback stuck on a terrible team. Bradford always had the injury issues. Newton was in a Super Bowl. Luck made it to the championship game against the Patriots. So if you don't have Tom Brady taking, so much less, maybe he winds up getting into that there. I think he definitely could have if he kept playing. Winston's a turnover machine. Goff's been in the Super Bowl, and then Mayfield, Murray, and Burrow. It's so early right now, but it wouldn't shock me to see Mayfield or Murray possibly in there in the coming years here. So good thought-provoking question, Terry. I really, really enjoyed that one. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. AJ Spaz says, thoughts on taking ETN with our second first rounder. I figured bringing in a guy that Trevor worked with could be very beneficial to Trevor and minimize his anxiety of being in a new place. So if I'm reading this correctly, AJ Spaz is comparing Trevor Lawrence to a goldfish that you put in your fish tank, and you have to acclimate him to the water before you let him into the water.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's nice.
I like Travis Etienne a lot. I don't think he's getting out of the first round. So I would not take him with our second first round pick purely because running back is something you can get later in the draft. I said I really like Kenny Gainwell. If you want to take running back at the top of the second round, I'm all for it. Like I can understand that draft pick. But in the first round, with that 5th-year option being so valuable, I feel like you're better served drafting a cornerback, an edge rusher, a wide receiver, a guard, someone in that kind of capacity, as opposed to spending it on a running back where that 5th-year contract is not really going to provide you much value because the guy's going to be one of the highest paid running backs in the league. Green Bean, what do you think about Travis Etienne with our second first round pick?
Yeah, it's a touch early for me. I think the other needs, like offensive line, receiver, edge, corner, all those things, they supersede running back. But I'm okay with doing it if he's there at 33. It seems minimal, but it is a big deal. I think the guys you're going to be able to get for the offensive line or receiver at 25, let's say, are going to be much different than what you can get at 33. So I'm willing to take, if Etienne or Najee Harris, who I happen to like a little bit better, are there at 33, I would do that, but I wouldn't pull the trigger in the first for a running back this year.
Matt, what about you with Etienne with our second first-round pick?
Yes, I am very anti taking a running back in the first round unless you're a team like the Kansas City Chiefs who can have that luxury of doing that and picking them with literally like the last pick in the first round. But for the Jets who have so many needs, I can't justify it. I love Etienne as a player, love him, but that pick has to be either offensive line, edge, corner, wide receiver, a big time need position. You can get by with signing a mid-tier free agent running back like Jamal Williams and adding a mid-round draft pick along with LaMichael Pirine and be fine with that running back trio. Drafting a running back that high, I think, would be a mistake for the Jets.
Richie, what do you think about Etienne with our second first-round pick?
Yeah, I really liked him. I feel like the dynamic between him and Lawrence would be interesting because, as we know, they're teammates. But I don't really think it's a good idea for the Jets. I agree with what Green Bean and Matt said, that you cannot reach on a running back in the first round unless you are suitable to do so. The Jets are not. We have holes at every single position that is premium besides that left tackle spot. We got to really be thankful about that. But at the same time, a little ounce of me does say we need a stud running back that can run behind Mekhi Becton, and we become a left-handed team. And I'm not saying that justifies taking running back in the first round. I just really hope that Joe Douglas prioritizes that and really snags a running back, whether it's in free agency or in the draft later on, or maybe even the second round or third round. We need to get a really dynamic running back because I feel like if we could become a run-dominant team, that's going to open things up for Trevor Lawrence. I feel like our offensive line is trending in the right direction, especially blocking in the run game with Mekhi Becton leading the way. So, I don't really think it's a good idea for the Jets to take him in the first round, but like Reed Bean said, if he's there at 33, I would pull the trigger.
I like it. Good stuff. RTM says, I made a $250 bet 3 years ago that we would reach the Super Bowl on Sam's rookie deal. It has officially been declared double or nothing if we get Trevor. Let's go, baby. Oh, man, you are ballsy, my friend. So he's going double or nothing on Trevor making the Super Bowl. You know what? Elway made it. Peyton Manning made it. Andrew Luck retired early. I think by law of averages, Trevor Lawrence is bringing us to the promised land, assuming the Patriots wind up beating us week 17. Green Bean, what do you think about this bet, double or nothing, Trevor taking us to the Super Bowl?
Hey, man, if you're in there, just get in there. Keep going. Why not, man? Put the house up. Why not? It's going to happen eventually, even a broken clock. You know what I mean?
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, F it, man. Let's go. Real head coach in here. Trevor Lawrence gets the Super Bowl on his rookie deal. I'm in. Let's go.
There you go.
Richie, what are you thinking about this bet?
Yeah, I mean, you dug yourself deep into that. I actually have a similar bet with my friend. I said that my friend told me that I guarantee Sam Darnold does not win a playoff game on the Jets in his career. And at the time, I'm like, yeah, right, bro. Are you kidding me? Sam Darnold's going to win a playoff game. And here we are.
Yeah,
I had a buddy. I wish he sent me the stat. It was alarming, whatever it was. And he told me the beginning of the season, he goes, yo, here's a list of quarterbacks that are in this stat. And Sam Darnold's one of them. And it was like atrocious. It was like 5 or 6 guys that were like brutal. And Sam Darnold was the only one in it. And I wish I knew the stat. So I'm sorry I'm bringing up something that I can't, replicate. But I was like, don't tell me that. I was like, we're not going to be that bad. And then, 0-13 later, I guess we are that bad.
Wow.
Brian Thomason says, how about creating a bowl game between the two worst NFL teams? Winner of the game gets the number 1 pick. It's an interesting dynamic. I'm cool with them wanting to change the format after this year of how the first pick gets divvied out. If you want to say the top 3 picks maybe or something like that, I don't think a lottery is the way to do it, but I do think that maybe having some type of metric or some type of you can't have a bowl game, because if you're a player on that losing team, are you trying to win that game to, like, I don't know. I like the idea of not tanking. So if you can somehow make it where maybe the top 3 teams are playing for, some type of statistic or some type of, I don't know. I don't even know how you would do it, or you weigh it differently like a lottery. Like maybe whoever was the worst gets like 75% of the ping pong balls in the the jug. Second pick gets 20 and third pick gets, whatever the remaining is 5 or whatever. Green Bean, what do you think? Is there a better way? I'm going to flip this question a little bit. Is there a better way to do the NFL draft and who gets the first overall pick?
Well, a better way. I think it's effective. How you do that. There's a team that needs resources at the bottom, and so therefore they earned those resources. But I do like the idea of having some fun at the bottom. Like there are playoffs in a Super Bowl for the great teams, and then at the bottom, it's just like, all right, let's get these losers together and see what they can do. You know what I mean? Like I like that idea. I don't know if I like such dramatic consequences. Like if you suck and you're the worst team in the league, and then you lose that game, you don't get the pick. It's like just continue to kick us when we're down. So I don't know about that, but I do like the idea of some sort of loser bowl. That's fun to me.
Matt, what do you think about the way we do the number 1 overall pick right now? Is there a better way to do it?
No, I like it as it is, to be honest with you. I hate the lotteries in the NBA and NHL. I can't stand it. And the idea of the 2 worst teams playing is fun in theory, but I don't think it should decide anything. If you just want to do like an exhibition style kind of game, okay, sure. But as Green Bean said, like these teams are bad for a reason. And I'm not someone who believes in tanking, really. Like I think that from ownership perspective, or maybe from management, sure, you might position yourself to where you can get more cap space and build through the draft, but I don't think you're necessarily saying like, oh, I'm gonna on purpose lose every single game. So I think it's fine the way it is. I don't really like change to begin with. So what?
Braden says, what's the toilet bowl trophy look like? It's gonna be a golden plunger. It's gonna be a golden plunger. Oh, I love it. Richie, do you think there's a better way to?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a better way to do the draft?
No, I think it's good the way it is. Like Matt said, I cannot stand the lottery system. I mean, as a diehard Knicks fan, we get a worse pick than we're supposed to get every single year for the past 5 years straight. We were the worst team in the league. We were supposed to get the first pick, and we dropped down to 3, and then we were at 6 this year, dropped down to 9. So knowing the Jets' luck, it would not go in our favor. So I think I'm very happy that the NFL's function this way, because it definitely helps the Jets out in their favor, because we need to get finally get the first overall pick, because we deserve it. And Green Bean said this last night on my stream. The New York Jets needed a season like this in order to spark the future. We've always had those years where we win some meaningless games and we get blind hope for the future. We needed a year to be terrible and get the first pick and get our guy so we can really be where we want to be. And can you imagine that we go 0-16 and we still don't get the first pick? So I think the system is good the way it is. I don't really want to go into a bowl game as the worst team in the league and lose that game and then lose out in the first pick. That's just, I don't think that would work out.
That would be absolutely brutal. Bob, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, another big piece no one's talking about is that we need a true number 1 receiving tight end. Imagine someone like Kittle or Kelsey with Trevor. I agree. I think we do need a legit number 1 tight end. I'll say this, though, with the hope and production that I thought we were going to get out of Herndon and Griffin, I'm willing to let this ride for one more season, barring some type of, really good prospect falling to where they shouldn't be. I would prefer to bring in a new head coach, new offensive system, see if we could kind of rekindle any sort of magic from these tight ends that we brought in, Wesco, Griffin, Herndon. just sort of see how it goes and sort of push it off next year. So for this year, I'm looking edge, receiver, interior guard, cornerback, and then obviously quarterback at the top of the draft. So tight ends one, I'm okay punting on for a season if I have to. Green Bean, what do you think about the tight end situation?
Well, he's speaking my language. I think that people undervalue, like when you're crying for a receiver, like you're not crying, but like when they outcry is for a receiver, a tight end can absolutely fit that role of that receiving threat. And when you look at guys like Tony Gonzalez or, there are so many through the years right now, Kelson Kittle, and even where Ertz was not too long ago, that can be the piece that quarterback needs the most, especially because if they're decent at blocking as well, they can add both of those aspects. A very, very interesting position. So I happen to like 4 or 5 of the tight ends, obviously Pitts and Freiermuth, but there's even like Kolar and some others, that Nick Eubanks, that are really good, man. So I think it would be a smart move. I think Herndon can be an effective maybe number 2 or something like that. But I'm kind of past depending on him. So I would like it.
I'll say this. You mentioned it briefly with Zach Ertz. With Joe Douglas coming from Philadelphia and Philadelphia being in dire cap hell and Zach Ertz's contract not being that bad, I could see a situation where we trade a late round pick to Philly so they could free up some cap space and we bring in Zach Ertz as a guy that Douglas has had on his roster before. So I could see that happening. Matt, what do you think about the tight end position, and is it a huge need for the Jets?
I think you have a receiving tight end on this roster. I just think he needs to be put with a coach who knows how to use him, and that's Chris Herndon. And like you said, I'm willing to run it back another year. And if I'm wrong this upcoming year in 2021, fine, so be it. Then in 2022, you draft a tight end. But I think with what we saw from Chris Herndon in his rookie year and just the inability for Adam Gase to use a tight end is something that just stands out to me way too much for me to give up on him right now. I'm not saying he's had a good year by any stretch of imagination. He's been really, really bad. But look at Adam Gase and what he did with Mike Gesicki in Miami. He had no idea how to use that kid. And now he's a great tight end for Miami. So I think Chris Herndon showed in 2018 as a rookie that he has a lot of talent. I think he showed it this year with that catch against the Chargers that he has a lot of talent. I just think he needs to be put in a system that's actually good and with a good quarterback, and we can see him have success. So I'm not ready to give up on Chris Herndon.
Richie, what are you thinking about our tight end struggles?
Yeah, I mean, Matt kind of stole the words right out of my mouth. I mean, I think that Chris Herndon still has a lot of potential, and I feel like I don't want to, give false hope, but Chris Herndon, what he showed his rookie season with Sam Darnold, I mean, I guess we can really compare it to Sam Darnold as well, because Sam Darnold and Chris Herndon looked like the next QB tight end duo for this Jets team that we're going to be so excited about. And now in year 3, both of them look atrocious. And what do you put that on? You put that on the organization. You put that on the system, the coach. I mean, it's just really insane. There has to be something going on that we're not really realizing. Well, we are realizing because we know Adam Gase is a reason, but still, everything's aligning. Sam Darnold showed a lot of potential his rookie season. Chris Herndon did as well. And now I'm going to repeat myself. It's just the fact that we need to give these guys a chance to see what they can do without Adam Gase. And I'm not saying keep Sam Darnold. Maybe keep Sam Darnold if we don't get the first pick. That's another discussion. But if we get Trevor Lawrence, I feel like he could revive Chris Herndon's career. I always thought he had the potential. Unfortunately, year 2 for him was cut short with suspension and injury. So we never saw Chris Herndon. And all the Jets fans were just so excited to see Herndon back in year 3 with Sam Darnold. We thought we were going to see it all over again. But we cannot just talk about not bring up how bad Chris Herndon looks this year. It's not even like he's not getting the targets, he's not doing this. It's like he has really embarrassing drops, wide open drops. He's looking to run before he catches it. He's just not. He doesn't feel comfortable out there. There's something not right with his mind, and I feel like that's where the problem is with Chris Herndon. It is not a physical talent issue. It is his mind. He doesn't have confidence in himself. He doesn't have confidence in the system. So that's why I feel like if we bring in a head coach that can instill confidence within Chris Herndon. We give him another year and see what he can do with Trevor Lawrence. And I feel like that will be the best bet. I definitely think that a tight end like a Kittle and Kelsey would be so valuable to this Jets team. And I always thought Herndon had that potential because we saw what he did in his rookie season. Like, where did it go? And where did Sam Darnold go? Where did a lot of players go on this team? It's not just one or two players. It's the entire team regressed under head coach Adam Gase. And it's just, he deserves all the blame.
I completely agree with where your guys' head's at. We have reached the 10 o'clock hour. Guys, we have 158 likes on this video, and it is Green Bean's birthday. If you want to wish the dude a happy birthday, our big old Green Bean, we need likes on this video. Drop a like if you want to wish him a happy birthday. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Richie, thank you for being here. Well, let's go around the panel. We'll get some closing thoughts. Green Bean, any last words for the guests out there?
You're muted, Green Bean.
I do that often. I had to cough again. So I just want to say I love being here. The 2 hours flies by for me every time. I will say that, as some of you know, I started a new YouTube channel. I'm still with Jet Nation. Please like and subscribe, Jet Nation. But Green Bean Jets fan on YouTube, that's where my podcast is going to live and all that. I would love it if people could come over and subscribe.
That is linked in the description down below, so make sure you sub up Green Bean's new channel there. Matt, any last words for the panel?
Yes, new episode of Just Jets drops tomorrow. We are talking about the ugly Seattle game. We are answering voicemails, a whole lot of fun stuff, so please tune in.
Richie, thank you so much for coming on. Any last words for the panel?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. I'm always down to be on this panel. What's going on with me on YouTube, for anybody that is not a Jets, anybody that is a Knicks fan as well and a Mets fan, I have two brand new channels called Knicks Media and Mets Media. So I know not everybody are Knicks and Mets fans, but go check me out over there. I got a lot of content coming. So again, Ryan, thanks for so much for having me on, man.
Guys, thank you so much for flying with us. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot here next Tuesday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Thank you, guys. This is Jets Talk, signing off. Jets.
Jets.